top ult. They don't have either big ult. Do you think they can fight this without either?
It's risky. They'll look to like chip and poke around, but I don't think they'll look for a full engage.
There's the back into a Static Storm. Kinetic Field only catches Maybe, though, who stands his ground for now. Can he ball out of here in time? Bloodstone deny. No, he makes his way out. They try to glimpse him back in, and he's still going to survive in the end. Oh, they were close to wrangling him, gods, but just good defensive support play. The tower is denied. Na'Vi able to at least get that.
Well, so I definitely showed that it was worth a shot for Na'Vi. That vacuum Static Storm, they said, we don't need all our ultimates, we just need like one or two. A Static Storm, that'll do it. They had the wall as well, so they said no Sonic Wave, no Echo, no problem. Unfortunately, they just couldn't quite kill the Storm because of the defensive support play, but it still feels like that was a justifiable a hold attempt from Na'Vi.
And it also puts the fear of God in LGD.
Yeah.
That next time, if they have the Echo, if they have the Queen of Pain ult, and we go there, and more than one hero gets caught, God forbid it's the Dazzle, you're in a lot of trouble.
I mean, LGD weren't even close to going for a kill or finding a kill that fight, whereas Na'Vi were just inches away from killing a Storm Spirit.
Shawade is hunting. He is going to try to find a Vost here. Gets the Yule Scepter off. Is there any sort of backup coming in for the Gyrocopter? Doesn't have the BKB cooldown just yet, but Shawade gets countered, initiated upon. Now they snowball, bringing him into the fray, looking for the Laguna on Havos. They do. They zap him down. Now the Grave on Shawade. Excellent defensive support play. Glimpsing back, maybe take him out of the fight. Shawade healed. Then Mac. They just can't kill this Lina. Looks like a carry by how much HP he's constantly being given. And in the end, a 2-for-0. Well, Na'Vi, as strong as they are, it's 5. If they get caught out one by one, they do melt.
Yeah, they weren't grouped up and ready for that one. I think that was just some surprising LGD aggression. Like, they just went diving in, hoping for the best. And out of this, Roshan is the goal and something that Na'Vi, with 2 dead, can't really contest.
When you are running a gigantic team fight combo like this, the worst thing to have to deal with is a second life. Wraith King used to be a great counter pick to big AoE team fights for exactly that reason, and Aegis now comes out for the Storm. So obviously, like, not a great Aegis carry, but Storm amazing for this. So now they got to find a way to kill maybe twice.
This is a Storm who's getting scary and scary. This guy has been the player of this TI so far. I would say...
I would agree.
The stand-up player. As far as individual skill and talent goes, probably him and Arteezy have been the 2 standout individual players. Arteezy gets overshadowed by the fact that he's on a team of star players who
the
also play
is
amazingly.
Everyone expected it out of Arteezy.
Yeah.
I don't think many people... certainly not from the Western scene expected of maybe. Some have seen what he's done on LGD, but he's never played on, well, I wouldn't call it the big stage yet as far as the environment, but as far as the quality of competition, it certainly is.
He also gets the edge because he was the orchestrated a big comeback. Secret haven't had to have a big comeback yet. Well, the games they were behind, they lost.
Are you challenging Arteezy?
Yeah, look, well, challenging Secret. They got to get behind, and then Arteezy's got to, I don't know, power his way
is
through
not
a comeback.
known to shy away from a challenge.
He's got to have a big 10K gold Ember Spirit comeback.
You what, mate?
Arteezy, I got to play Ember Spirit? What? I don't think that's in our hero pool.
That's one thing EG get to do now that they didn't used to with Sumail now on the field. I'm sure they'll give Arteezy a hard time for it, but man, he makes up for it with his other heroes. Back to the mid lane.
Just wait for the grand finals, LD. Arteezy will pull it out.
Back to the mid lane. Call down coming through. Havos instantly BKBing, but it's an air ball. This is going to make this tower defense quite a bit trickier. Sylar did ultimate. They're going to glimpse him back to slow down the push for about half a second. He's right back in, and out he goes. LGD, no full commit here, but they know with the BKB and the call down both used, there is a chance. Na'Vi still want to fight this, though. They feel like they might be able to take the engagement anyway, and so they glyph. Out come the shards, scouting more than anything. No Lycan ult either. Oh, they're going for it. Back. There you go. Now the wall, the snowball used. They didn't catch anything with that. No Static Storm or Kinetic Field, and now they ball in. Static Storm was waiting for this, but he already blinked his way out of this one, or actually able to walk his way out. Art Style, the first man down. Sylar going to BKB, and in they go for more. They get the killing spree, and it's tough to hit that combo reliably when you're outside your base and just not able to find the opening. Now a ball in, maybe has the Aegis, rushes in, Havos no BKB, down for the count. The push continues in earnest. Dendi, Yule's ready soon. Back, Echo, Guapo, the combo plays from Na'Vi. Just when you think you're safe, they find the kills, but there's still an Aegis here. Sylar's still alive. They're not done just yet. They'll have a second life on the Storm here. Might be able to go back in on Siniko. Sylar was really thinking about it. They're going to work on the racks. Oh boy. If only they had everything else. If they had the wall there, the Static Storm ready to go as well.
If they had the Gyrocopter. Oh.
My kingdom for a full team fight. That's the war cry by Na'Vi. Oh, they might find MMY here, though.
And that's where LGD just played that smart. They chipped away. They forced Na'Vi to commit like a BKB or the vacuum wall, and then they went in when they knew it was fairly safe. They just underestimate a bit the killing potential of a few ultimates. They're like, okay, they're missing half their ultimates, we can push, but half their ultimates, in that case, a vacuum, Sonic Wave, and Echo Slam was enough. They didn't need cooldown, they didn't need wall, they had two others.
Honestly, I think if you're LGD here, overall you're kind of happy with the matchup, just because you have these two super farmed carries, or at least getting there, rather than having like 5 reasonably farmed heroes who can all just die to that. If the Lycan gets much bigger, maybe he can just run in and tank the combo. But we see again and again how hard it is to high ground this team. Sylar going to BKB dodge, and he's really chasing for this. I think he needs to back. Yeah, he's going to give up.
He's completely alone, but
that was a little ballsy. A lot of kiting items outside the base on his own. It's tough for him to find the kills.
If Artcel's there, could look for a punish with like a glimpse kinetic field, but
as that BKB wears lower, it's going to get riskier and riskier to go for that kind of play.
So this is the time where LGD feel like, okay, we've got control. We now dictate the play. Normally it comes a lot early in the game, but it took a bit longer for Storm to come online. Wanted Bloodstone as well as the Orchid. Even the Lycan getting the BKB on top of the Necro 3 was important. So from here on out, as much as Na'Vi have the big teamfight wombo combo, LGD are going to be smoking around the map, trying to take objectives in at least safe fashion, and it feels like Na'Vi really have to just keep looking for that big teamfight combo.
They've shown they can pull it off.
Funnick's getting scouted here in the jungle. Let's be careful. That's a long ball lightning.
The Wolves, they give the vision needed. Can Funnick pop the mech in time here? He will. Tries to retreat. Actually, now Guardian Greaves, but still pursued by maybe completely out of mana. Has one more ball with the regen, and Funnick, no escape for him. Now bottom lane. Action breaking out there as well. Call down was thrown out. They get the Shao-Ite Lina. A slight win there for LGD, getting a core for a supporter on the map. But looking for a bit more here. Dendi trying to hunt MMY like an ult. Gearing up and racing in potentially. Even his illusions are charging forward with rapid speeds, while maybe is finding kills to the south of the fight. Up to the north, it breaks out in earnest. Starts out with the TP out, escapes from the snowball, which just turns tail towards the well. And God, did you see how fast that gyrocopter had his rotors just ripped off and plummeted to the ground? Man, he didn't last a second.
Yeah, and this bottom tier 2 tower probably not going to last too long at all. 3 Na'Vi heroes on the sidelines, and the push is coming and coming fast. This is problematic for Na'Vi. LGD just outmaneuvering them. Always seem to have a numbers advantage when they take a fight, and they're just splitting Na'Vi up. They're not really committing to like one place on the map. They're not fighting around choke points. They're not fully grouping up as 5. They're forcing Na'Vi to spread,
and they're really having trouble just corralling the Storm and the Lycan. These two they're so mobile, especially the Storm of maybe. You have quote-unquote counters on paper, but just not the most mobile ones. They don't have a Hex yet. Your Disruptor is relatively poor, sitting at only, well, actually extremely poor, sitting at, it was Elite Gold for a moment, now just 1,344. Tough to wrangle him. Here comes the Lycan ult. Once again, it's online. It's up a lot at this stage of the game. And again, the jump in, maybe onto Funnick. They do have a Static Storm, and they drop it, but it's a complete airball from Artcell. This gives LGD the freedom to rush forward. More objectives are the goal. They may not even wait for the next Roche. With those kills, looking for more, and they even going to find Dendi, who throws himself up in the air. Can he blink out in time? No, the Echo! That's all, nothing else! One by one, Na'Vi fall like a house of cards, collapsing under the weight of the LGD onslaught, who look to continue rampaging through Group A. It's LGD at Secret, neck and neck here down the stretch, as they will force out the GG, sweep Na'Vi 2-0, and with this loss, Gods, Na'Vi 100% to the lower bracket for them. They are going to need some serious, serious plans to make their way forward from here.
Yeah, for Na'Vi in the main event, they'll be putting their life at stake in a best-of-1 lower bracket match. That's going to be tough, and they've had some signs of brilliance throughout this group stage. The consistency just hasn't been there, but started off today pretty strong, but I mean, you have games left against LGD, and LGD have just been, next to Secret, the two scariest teams in the tournament. So this was always going to be a tough one for Na'Vi, and unfortunately they fell short.
Good news about this year's format. They are not out of it. They won't be eliminated before the main event, but You know, as much as every loss we've seen from Na'Vi so far, they try to keep their chins up. They try their best to talk about what they can do for the next game. It has to start wearing on them at some point. They just can't seem to put together wins. And, you know, you even go back to day one, the match against Cloud9, it felt like they could have 2-0'd them. That starts to come back to really haunt Na'Vi. And I worry about the morale even more than the potential of the team. But, well, with that, we're going to hand it back to the analysts, see what they think about Na'Vi, as well as how Group A is shaping up overall.
Yes. And welcome back, everyone. As we go forward, we do have a special guest here. We just wrapped up, of course, our match between Na'Vi and LGD. Na'Vi not looking so good. But before we talk about it, special guest Ben disappearing.
Special guest Ben.
no, Ben disappearing. And I didn't finish my sentence yet. And we do have Shiver. Welcome to the foyer. That's what we're calling it.
Oh, the foyer.
Yeah, the TI5 foyer.
Thank you very much.
If you just want to say hi to all of our viewers.
Hello.
All right, I thought you were just going to end it hello. I was like, well, I'll take it literally. That's fine, too. Let's talk about the game really quick, and then let's kind of look at an overview of TFI, of course. Again, pretty much now nearing halfway, and, of course, in the case of Na'Vi, things pretty much settled for bottom 4 of Group A, huh? I think that's how it's going to be right now. So Na'Vi weren't able to pull through in Game 2. Sidran, walk us through Game 2 a little bit. Again, Na'Vi just weren't able to close it out.
Yeah, it's, I'm going to sound like a broken record, but, it's kind of the same problem again. The early game is either, again, they don't lose it horribly. It's pretty even. They, of course, start off on the wrong foot in the mid lane. They try to gank the Lycan of Sylar. He's one hit away from death, and then ultimately Dendi instead dies to the Wolves, which is, of course, getting off to a pretty bad start there. But apart from that, the early game laning stage goes okay for Na'Vi. We get to the mid game, and they just flat out get outplayed in pretty much every single situation. LGD has better planning, better movement, and it's the question right now, as you said, I think unless something very spectacular happens,
right.